Hello everyone and welcome back to Harrison Motorsport YouTube channel. Today's video, the long-awaited Formula 2 pyramid. Who's at the bottom level and who's all the way at the tippy top? Now remember, this pyramid takes into effect context, expectations, kind of skill, other external factors, not just championship standings, because obviously that would just be boring. However, there are some pre-requirements to get on this pyramid, and that is scoring a point. So I'm sorry, Bennett, Shields, and Essendon, you are nowhere near the pyramid. You need to score a point first, and then maybe I'll consider you to get on my esteemed pyramid. So let's go in. I guess we have a more reduced bottom level. This is because of the other drivers not scoring any points. So it's more like an arrowhead today, but still a pyramid nonetheless. So we have Mini, Miata, Miney, and Cordeal. I think two of these drivers, Miney and Cordeal, same kind of boat, you know, they've been in this series for a while, they're expected to score good points here and there, but really, their careers need to look elsewhere. You can't make a lot of money in F2. F2 is where you go and you show your skills. Then you go to another series, and that's where you earn yourself a name, a reputation, money. And Miney and Cordeal, they're getting on a bit. What do they have left to prove in this series other than that they can score points maybe on 1 out of 3 races? It's not a good look when you come against F2 rookies. So yeah, these guys need to move on, and that's why they're at the back. Then we have Miata, who's next up. And I think he just needs to call it. He took a punt after his Super Formula win, championship win in 2023, come to Europe, take part in an F2, show everyone what you're about, and maybe break into the scene of endurance racing in Europe. That didn't seem to play out well, and maybe it's time, it's a bit of a homecoming back in Japan in Super Formula for 2026. He's had a rough time. This year's been a little bit better than last year, and this year's been terrible, which shows you how bad last year was for him. So yeah, I think it's time for him to move on as well. And then we have Mini, who I think has been one of the biggest disappointments of the season. His expectations for me were way up there. He was always fighting for the title in F3. Coming to F2, expecting at least like points more or less every race, maybe around like 5th to 10th in the championship, but no, he's stuck in 14th. He hasn't scored points for the last 2 races, like 2 race weekends. He's got 1 podium to his name, but his expectations were so high, and he's after an F1 seat. It's not looking likely with his performances, you know. I'm sorry, Mini, but like, I feel like everyone thought the world of you, and you haven't lived up to those expectations this season. I mean, I'll give him another year to come back, but like, I wanted to outline, he's been so bad this year compared to where I thought he was going to be, hence why he's at the bottom. The next row up, we have the kind of, these drivers are alright, they're not in the top 10, but they're not a stinker either, you know. We've got Megatunif, who's coming in to a team which is struggling, and you're like, okay, you can have a bedding in year, that's fine. I mean, he's beating his teammate, which is more than Mini can say, with Montoya beating him. Yeah, he's beating his teammate in Essendon, who hasn't scored a point yet, but they're struggling in that Trident team. I think he's okay to have a year there. He's not doing anything good. He's not doing anything bad. His expectations were mid, unlike Mini, which is why he's above him. But yeah, same with Stanek. I feel like it's very similar to Miney and Cordeal, but I think he's a few years off that. You know, like he's on the way to becoming washed up in F2, but he's not there yet. So he either needs to put a shift in, or go to one of these other series, because yeah, this doesn't look like it's the right pathway to Formula 1 for him. Oliver Goeth, very similar to Megatunif, where I think it's more of a bedding in year. Expectations weren't as much there as they were for Mini, in my opinion. So which is why I'm rating him higher. But still, this year hasn't been it. It hasn't been horrendous either, but it has not been it for sure. So next year has to be the one for Oliver Goeth. Then we have Pepe Marti, who although is in 8th in the championship, you're being beaten by your rookie teammate, who you're up to head to head for an F1 seat. He dropped the ball, you know. He's big time. It's not like horrendous performances, but it's like, come on, bro. This is your one chance to get into F1 most likely, and you're throwing it away because you can't beat a rookie who's been a bit inconsistent, you know. Like Lindblad has some wins in here and there. I guess we'll see where he ends up later on in the video, but he hasn't been dominating the field like we've seen in F3 with Kamara. So yeah, Marty, it's been fine, I guess, but like, he needs amazing to get an F1 seat. If he did an amazing season, he would get an F1 seat. Some of these guys are having amazing seasons, and they won't get an F1 seat. It's because of the opportunity, you know? Whereas if Marty did, he might actually get one. So it's like, it feels like a wasted opportunity for him. Then we have Dirksen, I think has had a couple bright spots for a race. You know, he's had a win, he's had a second place. The rest of the year's been a bit mad, you know. I know he's not with a great team, but even when Barnard was there with them last season, they were putting in quite good performances on a semi-regular basis, a lot more regularly than what he's doing this season, you know. It's better than Marty, because Marty is like, Dirksen has, I think the only thing that he's defying expectations for that team in AIX, but he's not defying what he did last year at all, or what Barnard did last year at all in the same team. So it's a bit underwhelming, if you ask me, which is why he's not in the top 10. Emir Bogdanovic, he's in 10th in the championship standings. He's in my 10th spot on my pyramid. He's having an alright year, a couple podiums, but he's meant to be Ferrari's next guy. And he's not showing that, you know. I feel like it's a similar kind of thing to Mini, but Bogdanovic has done better than Mini. Where it's like, come on, you know, do a bit better. Your teammate, who's also a rookie, is doing better than you. I know he's a bit older than you. I think Browning is a year or two older than Bogdanovic, but still, it's like, come on, beat your teammate. Beat your teammate. And if you can't beat your teammate, it's struggling. If it's going to struggle to put you up high. Next up is Martins. I think Martins has been outstanding in qualifying, which is his only redeeming factor of a somewhat lackluster year. He's in 9th in the championship standings. He's got a podium, but his qualifying's been outrageously good, which is the only reason that he's here. If his qualifying was dirt as well, he might even be in the red, because he is one of the older drivers in the championship, and that kind of pathway is blocked. You know, I think he's a Williams driver now, but even still, like, you have Sainz and Albon there. You ain't getting a seat anytime soon, brother. You feel for him, and you feel for him even further for being behind Villagomez. Because I thought Villagomez was going to have another horrendous year, be in that pack of Aston, Shields and Bennett, who aren't going to get any points. But no, Villagomez has pleasantly surprised me. He's got a podium this year. He got a 3rd place. He's got 3 other point finishes. That's pretty solid. Like, I know it's not like outstanding or better than what any of the guys next to him or even in the row below him have done, but I don't care about that. Magatunov. No, sorry, not Magatunov. Villagomez. This is my opportunity to apologise to you. I'm sorry for writing you off. There might be a racer in you yet. Next up, Browning. I think a very good year in 5th. I just think it's the age profile that's getting in his way, because you're like, he's putting in a good showing, but then again, he should have been at the spot like a year or 2 ago if he was going to get an F1 seat. I know he's British, and there's a lot of British bias, but I'm not a Brit. Like, I don't identify as British. I'm a Kiwi through and through. And sorry, Browning, but it's a fine season. But given the context of the situation, these other guys are having better seasons than you. Like, let's go up the next level and we'll have a little look, because this is when it starts to get quite positive. You got Fornaroli coming off the win in F3. You know. Took him a little bit of time to get there, but what he showed was that he was consistent as heck. And in S2, he's showing the same thing. I think there's only 3 races out of like 20 all season where he hasn't gotten in the points. Mr. Consistency, you know, consistency is key, and Fornaroli is unlocking that door with that key. So I'm very impressed. Hopefully F1 teams are impressed also, because, you know, maybe a little debut outing is coming in soon. if he continues this sort of kind of career trajectory. Next to him is Montoya, who currently sits 7th in the championship standings. And I know Fornaroli is higher up, but I wasn't expecting this from Montoya. Montoya kind of similar vibes to Villagomez, but a little better, where it was like, hey, he's been a fine driver through the series, nothing outstanding. Now he's been put into Prema, which has struggled a lot. I'm not really sure what he's going to be doing, but he's come in and impressed, you know. He's got 3 podiums so far, good amount of point scoring. It's solid, you know. He's beating Mini, which is, everyone knows Mini is a very competent driver. So it says bad things about Mini, but it says good things about Montoya. I underestimated him. I feel like a similar kind of apology goes out to Montoya. I think I put him way down in my championship predictions. So fair game, well done. But next to him is the championship leader all the way down in 4th place. But that's because Vishor's career is in the same kind of pack as mine and Cordeal. Maybe the step above. Like Vishor's, I love Vishor. I feel like everyone loves Vishor. He's a hard guy not to like. But he's been in the series for 3 or 4 years now. You know, the guys above him have been here for like they're either rookies or I think the guy above him is like a couple of years like younger than him. Also, less experienced than him, and also is in line for an F1 seat. You know, Vishor's opportunities in F1 aren't there, and that's because he hasn't done this sooner. You know, it's a very impressive season so far, but he should have done this like 2 years ago. And I know he's got so unlucky. You know, so unlucky. Maybe the unluckiest driver in Formula 2 ever. But still, it's a good season. It's a great season. But it's not going to get him an F1 seat. He's not even in talks for an F1 seat, you know? Like, it's a similar vibe to all those years ago, the Brazilian driver, Drogovic, winning F2 when you're not expected to, when you're unaffiliated, when you're an older driver, and you're kind of randomly winning it. It doesn't really do much, you know? Drogovic has been an Aston Martin reserve driver for years, and he's not going to get shot. And I feel like that's the same thing's going to happen with Vishor. I'd love to see him get shot, because like I said, I really like Vishor, but I don't see it happening. Then above him, in 2nd and 3rd, you have Lindblad and Crawford. I mean, Lindblad is currently 6th in the standings, but he's got his Super Formula, also his like super license, you know, for Formula 1. He's testing well with them. He's doing well in the standings. Like, that's all he needed to do. Beat your teammate. Do well, put in some good results, get a couple wins, which he has done all of those things, and yeah, you're the youngest driver on the grid, so that's all you need to do, you know, and then we'll put you in the F1 seat, and you can get that experience, you know, and he's in that position because he's young and he's affiliated, something that Vishor's not, you know. If Vishor was young, like 20, 19, 21 maybe at the push, and affiliated with an F1 team, then he'll be higher up. But it's the context around what their performances are doing for their future, this pyramid, you know. Same thing with Crawford. Last season was a bit underwhelming, but this season had to be the one. You have a team in Cadillac saying, we want a talented F1 racer who's American, you know. We want a young guy who's American, who's great, and then you come and perform, you put in one of your best seasons you ever have in a series the same year that they're only looking for drivers. And then you get testing with them in Formula E, and you're testing them with them in, well, not them, Andretti, but they're the same thing basically in my mind. And you're testing with them in IndyCar. And it's like, well, I know there's links with Bottas and Checo and stuff, but it's like, you must be blind if you're not seeing these lines for Crawford going to that team, you know. That's with the kind of performances he's putting in. And they're having the Aston Martin kind of opportunities to be their reserve driver and get chances to jump in that car every so often and learn how to give feedback to an F1 team. So yeah, I'm impressed with Crawford and with his performances. We're also very, very hopeful for his future. I feel like he's less certain than Lindblad to get an F1 seat, but still, the performances he put in this year have made more of an impact on his future than Lundblad. If Lundblad had a poor season, I still feel like they might take a gamble, Red Bull, to put him in the RB seat next year, alongside most likely Lawson. But Crawford's come out of not nowhere, but he's done more for himself than what Lundblad has done in terms of what the result means for him. And then in first place you have Alex Dunn, who's picked up McLaren sponsorship. You know, he's currently third in the championship, but the hot start ahead to the season, leading it when he did, that's right when F1 teams start looking for drivers for next year. And it's like, okay, well, if we have a seat, you want to open it? And I know he's had a bit of a rough kind of last couple races where he's got retirements, disqualifications, but he's still on hot form and he's in the championship hunt. He's not like, he's a rookie as well. You have to remember that. Like, he's a rookie fighting with Shaw and Crawford, who've been here for years for that title. I don't see where he could go in Formula 1 currently, but I just know that if there's an open seat somewhere, people are going to be talking to him and his representatives to get him that seat. Because yeah, he's been very impressive. So this has been my pyramid. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who have I put somewhere which is a stinker? Somewhere where you think maybe is like an underrated shout from me? And yeah, I want you to like put your pyramid down below. Like, who's been an outstanding driver given the context of their situation? So yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.